Hey Knoxville, I'm Mayor Indya Kincannon, and this is Kickin' It with Kincannon. Every month, we sit down with community leaders, city staff, and Knoxville neighbors to talk about what's happening in Knoxville, the progress, the challenges, and the people who make it all work. So let's get to it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Kickin' It with Kincannon. I'm Mayor Indya Kincannon here with Drew from One Knox Soccer. Drew, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for having me. This is a great setting.
Yeah, and Kickin' It with Kincannon, sort of apropos title for our topic today, which is the summer of soccer here in Knoxville. We have a great local team, One Knox Soccer. How long have you been operating in the city right now?
So this is our 5th season. We started in 2022. You were there for our first game
amazing.
At Austin East, and then four in the professional ranks. So 4 playing inside USL League One. Our 2nd year at Covenant Health Park, which has been a great new home for us.
And what was our record last year at home?
We never lost at home.
Undefeated at home.
Including 3 playoff wins and a championship game.
It was so exciting.
It was awesome.
And we were league champs.
League champs, won it on November 16th in front of 7,500 people at Covenant Health Park, which was a great night.
It was a really magical season.
Yeah.
I mean, all the seasons have been magical, but the first season in Covenant Health Park was extra special for people here in Knoxville. We're so proud to have your team here. And one of the things that I love about One Knox is how much you guys are engaged in the community. Just last week, you unveiled a new kit. Can you tell us about the Delaney kit?
Yeah, so jerseys or kits in soccer culture are a big deal, right?
Yeah.
They're the way that a lot of teams kind of show who they are, and oftentimes storytelling is a key part of that. And so for us, from the early days, we knew that telling East Knoxville stories was a big part of what we wanted to do. Like I mentioned, first game at Austin East.
Yeah, that was a special game too.
Covenant Health Park to us is East Knoxville. With the city's help, we've delivered a mini pitch in East Knoxville at Harriet Tubman Park. So always looking for ways to tell East Knoxville stories, and got to connect with the Beck Center and Dr. Kessler to explore how we could tell Buford Delaney's story, given that we're playing on the site of his former home.
That's right.
And Buford obviously has a ton of beautiful works. We found one that we really like, kind of one of his abstract, untitled works from 1963, and use it as a way to bring that to life through our jersey, but really a way to kind of educate some folks in Knoxville about Buford and his legacy, but certainly folks outside of Knoxville about Buford Delaney, where he came from, the impact he had on the Harlem Renaissance, all that sort of stuff. So it's been a really fun trip.
Yeah, it's exciting to see that. And I've seen, we have some statues of people, famous people in the community, in the Black community, who got their start right there where Covenant Health Park is. And I've heard someone say, well, I never heard of this person. Why is there a statue there? It's like, so we start hearing about them and educating people about the heroic and amazing luminaries who are right here from East Knoxville. And Buford Delaney is a great example of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think he's fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, he died in Paris without much acclaim. And since his death has found, a whole bunch of acclaim in the art community. And I think more and more folks, even in Knoxville, are getting to know who he is. So who knows what his legacy will be in 10, 15, 20 years from now, because it certainly is stronger than it was 20 years before.
Yep, absolutely. I wanted to ask you a few questions. I'm a lifelong I played soccer as a girl. Little known fact, I got cut from my team when I tried out in high school. So that was a big disappointment, but I persevered and tried out for basketball and got cut from that. And then I tried out for tennis and made the tennis team. So I'm just wondering what your background in sports is. Did you play soccer, and how did you play other sports? Have you had nothing but success in your sports experience, or tell us a little bit about that?
My youth sports experience is a lot like yours. So unlike yours, I never played soccer growing up.
Really?
Still to this day, I've never played a game of soccer, which is kind of wild. But tried out for a lot of teams when I was a kid. I love sports. I got cut from a lot of teams when I was a kid. So I was a cross country runner and a lacrosse player in high school because they were both no-cut sports. But I benefited from youth sports in the way most kids do, which is it was part of my development. It's part of how I grew up and learned lessons and learned how to win and how to lose and how to be a part of a team. And I think that's the power of youth sports writ large. I mean, some kids will have the benefit of going on to maybe earn a scholarship, and very few kids will ever make any money playing sports, but everybody can benefit from the life lessons sports provide, which was my experience. But I was lucky when I was a kid. I got some opportunity to be close to the business side of sports. I'm from Chicago originally, and got to connect with the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago Bears on the business side when I was a kid, which was really cool. And it built this kind of love for the business of sport in my soul. I went to Notre Dame for school and worked for the football team there for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And so that was kind of the
American
bedrock.
football.
American football,
yes.
yeah. That was kind of the bedrock of my love for trying to find a way to work in sports one day. Moved here in 2020. My wife's from Knoxville, so.
Oh, okay. I was wondering
yeah.
what brought you from Chicago to Knoxville. So
Yeah.
your wife's born and raised here?
Born and raised here.
Did you meet in college? Or?
Met through a mutual friend a few years after school.
Okay.
And decided we want to raise our kids in Knoxville. So,
Awesome.
so 2020 we came down. We've loved every minute of it. Loved being close to her family. But I didn't have a job, and so what am I going to do in Knoxville? I had one successful startup before I came here, so I love startups, love the business of sport. Looked around, soccer wasn't taken, so that was the genesis.
Well, to me, the start of One Knox Soccer here in Knoxville is a real blessing, and it also complements this surge in interest. I don't know if you know, there's a big tournament going on right now.
There is.
Did you get a chance to see the U.S. men's national team win 4-1 against Paraguay?
It was fun. There's only 2 teams in soccer I care about. It's One Knox and the U.S. men's national team. So I'm a huge fan. It's part of the reason I got into soccer as a fan in high school. And so yeah, I was at Kern's Food Hall for the game on Friday night. We're doing watch parties there for almost every World Cup game. We'll talk about the one we're not doing a watch party there for, which will be here at Market Square.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's probably 500 people there. It was a great scene, ton of U.S. fans. And I mean, I think it was probably the best the U.S. men's national team has ever played. It was probably their best performance ever.
I've watched previous World Cups and, you know, sometimes they overachieve, but sometimes, you know, they're not overachieving or someone's injured. So knock on wood, maybe this year's the year where all the best players are doing at that peak of their performance, and it was beautiful to watch that game in the opener. It was really they played exceptionally well.
And I think you can't underestimate the value of being in a 75,000 seat stadium where everyone's wearing American colors and cheering for you. I mean,
the 12th man on the field.
Totally, but that matters. And Mexico's been playing great in Mexico. Canada played well in Canada, and so these teams that get to play at home in this tournament, huge advantage. And our path is only staying in the U.S. for the whole way through. So hopefully we can get on a roll.
Yeah, absolutely. So I also played in an adult league here in Knoxville, and I know that One Knox is very involved in soccer around the community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of One Knox's present and future is building grassroots relationships. So much of soccer culture in America is youth soccer or adult rec soccer, and we want that to be a part of who we are. So, I mean, before we played a game at all, before that Austin East game, we had adult rec games. It's been kind of from the very early days. We've been playing adult rec. It's a great way for us to connect with soccer loving community here in Knoxville. I think we had 2,000 adults playing soccer with us right now, which is great. So 7 days a week somewhere in Knoxville.
Maybe I'll get back into it.
We'd love to
in
have
a couple
you.
of years.
We got the first ever in the state of Tennessee women's only adult rec league, which is pretty cool.
I didn't know about that. Is it like a U60 league?
Yeah, you're absolutely eligible. We are. We don't discriminate on age in that league for sure. And so it's pretty cool.
I just don't want anybody under 30 to play again.
There might be a few
just kidding.
But yeah, we think it's really important. We just had a collective cup tournament, so we had a probably 25 team youth soccer tournament this week. I'm sorry, adult rec soccer team tournament this weekend, which is great. And on the youth side, we've got 1,600 youth soccer players in our setup, varying levels of ability. Because of my history, having a no-cut club is really important to us. And so we try to be available to teach the lessons that sports have for kids, regardless of capacity.
Yeah, sports has taught me a lot about basically teamwork and supporting other people on the team. And, it's helped me as a mayor as well.
Totally.
A couple questions, even though I've been, played soccer and I'm not a diehard Premier League fan. I know some people have their European Champions League and other stuff. So there's still some confusion among maybe the more casual fan. Why in some One Knox games, like the season opener at Covenant Health Park, ended in peak penalty kicks, and we won. It was amazing. And then sometimes we have a tie and then it's just over. But then last week, a couple weekends ago, there was a penalty kick. So when do we get to do PKs and when do we not? Because also ties are very unsatisfying.
I'm with you.
And I am confused a little bit by when do we have them and when don't we?
Yeah. First of all, I agree with everything you said. Sometimes we have a way in the soccer community of making things more complicated than they need to be. I wish every game that ended in a tie went to penalty kicks. I think it does two things. The American sports fan, they want a winner and a loser, right?
Yeah.
That's part of it. And also, what's the best part about soccer? It's seeing the ball go in the net. And with penalty kicks, you get to see the ball go in the net a bunch. So I wish it was always going to pens. The answer to your question
But you don't get to make the rules, right?
I try to, and they don't let me. The answer to your question is when we're playing a regular season game, it's just a tie and it's over. Okay. But the way USL works is we have some kind of in-season tournaments where we're playing not just ourselves, but the league above us as well. So that first game ever at Covenant Health Park was actually a game against a team, the league above us. It would be like a double-A baseball team playing a triple-A baseball team. Okay. And so in those settings, when it's a tie, it goes to penalty kicks, which was kind of like a little bit of a give to the people like me who said, hey, let's find a way to get some penalties going. So, that's the answer. It's not a great answer. I wish they all went to pens.
This brings me to my next question. At most sporting events, there's usually like someone playing, calling the plays, an announcer saying this. And do we have that at One Knox?
Yeah, Carlos.
Maybe I'm just too busy, chatting among my friends, or I don't hear it. Okay. Well, then I just got to pay closer attention because sometimes that play-by-play calling can help.
No, I think you're right.
More, people who like if you miss it and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah. The one tough thing with soccer is there's not so many stoppages, and so getting it throughout is hard. But Carlos is there for goals and end of game, that stuff. So maybe we can do a bit more.
Well, I think I like more just so I understand what's happening and. But maybe sometimes I just listen to my well-informed friends, or I'm sitting next to. They're like, "Oh, that guy's been, really doing great all season," and they're like, "He's borrowed from this team and this," and it's exciting to see. I love seeing the players in and around the city, too.
It's amazing.
So one thing you were just saying about the rules and playing up, we had a pretty big win against. An MLS team.
Yeah, it was amazing.
DC United. We went up to DC in their home turf and beat them. And was that in PKs too, right?
That was in PKs, yeah. So that's a different tournament, speaking of confusing.
I mean, that is really insane. Is that
it's pretty
sort
wild.
Of like Cape Verde tying Spain today?
It is not dissimilar to that, exactly. Yeah, we tied DC United. We got to win it in penalties. Cape Verde just ended in a tie, but it's not dissimilar. It would be like the Smokies playing the Yankees, or Tennessee football playing the Patriots. It's that kind of thing where it seems impossible. But on any given day, that's why sports happens, right? Because anybody can win on any day. It was a pretty awesome experience. They wanted
it more. They were hustling so hard. It was a spectacular game.
I think that's a part of it, right? When you have an overwhelming favorite come in, sometimes it's easy for them to take their foot off the gas, and for an underdog who's got nothing to lose, why not, right? So a little bit extra juice to go chase it down. And the thing in those games is the longer the underdog can stay in it, the more belief they get, right?
Yeah,
and
it's confidence building.
Exactly. And the tighter that the favorite gets. And I think that's kind of what we saw was, we were able to start believing and scoring late to get it done. So it was amazing. It was amazing to see for our players. We had one player in that game. My favorite story from this game, his name is Danny Fernandez, originally from Spain. He's been here for 5 years. He started in that first game ever at Austin East. He's been with us all the way through.
That's amazing.
And that
you've developed him.
Yeah, we've helped develop him, and that game was his 100th game for One Knox.
Wow.
And so for him to have that kind of progression through his career, I remember 45 minutes after the game was over, he was still in his full uniform, standing in the middle of the field, just kind of drinking it all in. So it's moments like that where it kind of humanizes these people and their pathway. Danny wants to play in the MLS. It probably won't happen for him, but for that night, it was there, right?
Yeah.
He got it done.
He beat an MLS team.
Exactly. And so, moments like that are really cool to see.
Oh, that's cool. So I know that our league is moving to this new thing where you have promotion and relegation.
Yep.
Is that good news for us? I mean, tell me what that means.
I think it's great news for us. First of all, what is promotion and relegation? It's the idea that a team can win, they can be elevated to the league above them based on performance. And if they're not doing well, they're at the bottom of the league, they can be relegated down below. If you're not
that's the way basically most soccer leagues are.
All global soccer works that way.
Right.
If you've watched Welcome to Wrexham or Ted Lasso, you've been exposed to what Pro Rel is. I think it's great for us because we're very aspirational.
Pro Rel, okay.
Promotion relegation, Pro Rel. But can I actually get political in my answer here? There's an interesting political bent or kind of economic bent to it, which is, America is built on this idea of American exceptionalism and capitalism, and you eat what you kill, and that that kind of general thing, right? Is a lot of our history, right? kind of how we want to go
It's
after
one
things.
way.
Exactly. But in the sport world, in America, it's very kind of, hey, let's protect ourselves and not allow for a lot of competition in this way, right? You know, like the NFL, for example, there's 32 teams and no one else can come in. If you underperform here, you're protected.
I see.
The rest of the world is similar to kind of that American ideal of, hey, if
Free
you're
market.
good, you can go. If you're good enough, you're going to play up. And so for us, you know, this idea that, hey, we can aspire to be anything. We can continue to try to build is good. Is there risk? Of course there's risk, but there's risk in life. And so why not kind
With
of
great
go
risk
after it?
comes great reward.
Exactly. Right.
Do you think Knoxville one day could support an MLS team?
Well, I think the great thing about ProRel is Knoxville can, you know, it's a platform for Knoxville to achieve whatever it wants. And the reality of these things is that the business is connected to the on-field performance. And so, you know, our hope is we can continue to grow like we have, which we can then invest into the team and hopefully chase promotion all the way up the pyramid. So yeah, I think we can go as far as Knoxville can take us. And so far we've been so thrilled with the continued support we see year over year from Knoxville. This year we're up 35-40% in ticketing, and
wow.
and we think there's a pathway to do that for the next few years. And so that's so important. I will say on the same note, last year we were up 220% in ticketing from 24 to 25. And
wow.
so much of that is due to your support and the city support, the county support, Visit Knoxville, Boyd Sports, the Sports Authority, making Covenant Health Park happen. It was a transformational inflection point for our business. We could not have continued to build our professional business the way we did at Regal Soccer Stadium, which was a great home. It was a fantastic place, but it wasn't the professional environment we needed to continue to build and thrive. So grateful to you and your office and the rest of the folks who made that happen, because I remember Randy Boyd saying, hey, you know, let's be honest, this will support Boyd Sports, this will support the Smokies. You know, our business will do well. But it's not just our business. There's going to be all sorts of businesses that are going to benefit from this. And I really do feel like One Knox is kind of exhibit A of, you know, the other businesses that were transformed by that stadium.
We always called it a multi-use stadium, and One Knox Soccer is a big part of that. And I love going to baseball games, but I love going to soccer games. And part of it is the environment at the stadium is so welcoming. There's great vendors. There's restaurants on the inside and outside. And it's a beautiful space to spend an evening. I haven't been to a day game yet. I guess the night games are super charming.
Yeah, they're great. When the sun goes down in the summer, it feels great.
It feels
cold
really
drink
good.
And hard to imagine a better place to kind of build a night around.
But let's think of one place that could be better, which is this Friday, not for a One Knox in-person game, but this Friday we're here in the balcony overlooking Market Square. Not just by accident, but because this Friday is the next U.S. men's national team World Cup competition against Australia, right?
That's right. Yep. So we won our first game against Paraguay. Australia's up next. If we win this game, we're probably through the group stage, which is a big deal. Get us on to the knockouts. And One Knox is hosting a free to the public, open to all watch party here in Market Square.
And what can people expect to be here? Like will you bring your own chair? What's going on?
Feel free to bring your own chair. So we'll bring a huge screen. We'll park it right in the middle of Market Square. We'll have live music starting at 1:00.
Oh.
Game kicks off at 3. And we'll have vendors. We'll have beer for those of age. We'll have, we're going to try to push most of the food requests into the businesses around Market Square and support them.
Right.
But we'll have some awesome activations, some fun games for the kids. But, anybody who's watched any of the World Cup has seen all of these big watch party activations in the big cities across the country. That's the energy we're looking for. Yeah, let's bring the party to Knoxville. Do
you have a prediction? What are they saying? What are the odds makers saying?
Yeah, we should win. We're better than them. Again, I think the home field advantage is going to be a big deal. Seattle sports fans are crazy, so expect a big, large crowd in Seattle. And if we play like we played against Paraguay, I feel like we can beat anybody. So it should be fun.
Was pretty magical.
Yeah.
Well, Drew, I wanted to end with 2 questions. One, if you were mayor for a day, what would you do right here in Knoxville, Tennessee? If you could be mayor and wave your magic wand.
That's a tough one. I feel like our current mayor, who's been here for a bit, has done a great job in trying to re-engage downtown. I have a huge passion for downtowns and cities. Before we were here, we lived in downtown Chicago, so I love cities. I might to look to see what we could do around continuing to champion the food scene in downtown Knoxville.
Nice.
We love the awesome restaurants. How can we try to encourage more great food here because I think we got a great story to tell around beautiful Appalachian food and different takes on how you can make that work for your cuisine. So maybe something around food just because it's a passion of mine.
Okay. That sounds great. I like that idea. And would you be willing to share with our listeners something that you're reading or a podcast you're listening to or something like that?
So I have 4 young boys. So anytime I'm not at work, I'm chasing 4. Yeah.
How old are they?
7, 5, 4, and 3 months.
Wow. No wonder you wanted to live close to your family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That sounds like a very busy household.
Exactly.
Are they starting to play soccer?
They all love it. The older 3 love it. They're all playing at some varying age, and obviously it's a big part of their life. But yeah, they love it. So if I ever get time, it's a few minutes before I fall asleep. But a little cliche, but I've started getting into stoicism, which I feel like is having a revival right now. Yeah. It's been helpful for me because it's basically about controlling yourself and controlling what you can control. So meditations by Marcus Aurelius is what I'm doing right now, and just trying to learn a little bit more about learn a little bit more about myself.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, I've delved into that a little bit, but maybe inspired by you, I'll read it again.
That'd be great.
It teaches us equanimity during occasionally tumultuous times, including maintaining control when we're feeling intense about some soccer games. And,
totally. Yeah. The highs can't get too high and the lows can't get too low.
That's right. It is a game. It's a beautiful game. And we're so glad that you brought it to Knoxville. So thank you very much. And I'll see you Friday, 3 p.m. right here in Market Square.
The beer will be here. So everyone come out and enjoy it Friday afternoon watching the U.S.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is Drew McKenna with One Knox Soccer. And see you next time. Thanks for kicking it with me today. If you like this episode, share it with a friend and be sure to follow Kickin' It with Kincannon wherever you listen to podcasts. For more updates, visit knoxvilletn.gov or follow us on social. Until next time, take care, Knoxville.